In this short video, I'm going to be talking about a quality and a difference between various guitars that is very rarely addressed. We talk about the feel of a neck, for instance, or the sound of a guitar's pops. We talk about that all the time. We talk about the fact that the body is lighter, it's heavy, how it feels against our body, how it balances. We talk about a guitar's appearance. But very rarely do we talk about the quality of liveness. Now, an acoustic guitar, we talk about that because that's where its sound comes from, the actual body vibrating, its liveness. But with an electric, we don't. And indeed, some of the very best electrics are solid bodies, whose bodies are designed not to vibrate very much, not to be live at our hands. Some favor those that are. The Gibson ES type guitars, for instance, which are either hollow body or semi-hollow body, have a certain amount of liveness. But the fact is, even a solid body can have some, and some very esoteric design guitars have a lot, and they're electric guitars. And this influences not only their sound, but how they feel in their hand. Enough where I think it should be a topic of discussion when we talk about the qualities of guitar. So I'm not going to do a lot of talking here, but I'd like to talk just a little bit and give examples of three guitars that have very different levels of liveness. And that degree of liveness, to me, means a great deal as to the pleasure I get in playing them and the kind of sound I can get from them. And this, even though I've been playing for about almost 60 years, is something that I've only really recently started paying attention to. So I just thought I'd share what I've learned. The first of these guitars is a Gibson ES guitar. Now, it is known to be a live guitar. This particular model, an ES Artist from 1980, is only semi-hollow, so it's not as live as some would be. But in comparison to a very similar Epiphone guitar I had, a beautiful Sheraton, this guitar's liveness jumped out at me when I first played it. I could feel it like it was a living thing in my hand. The next one I'm going to try is a solid body. Now, interestingly enough, the one I'm using here is one of my favorites, and it's a Fender design, but it's actually built by Squier. It's a vintage modified Jazzmaster, and it's a great guitar. You know, people have opinions about Squiers. This is a wonderful instrument, and I play it all the time. And if I'm playing surf music or vintage music, it's my first choice. I love it. And indeed, there are videos here available where, instructional videos even, where I play it or its similar sister Jaguar guitar. But the third one is the guitar that brought this really to my attention. It's a fairly rare guitar. It's one of Supro's Americana guitars that was out just for 2 years. I think was at 16 and 17. And they're marvelous guitars in that the fact that they have a mahogany back and what was called resoglass front. It's really, I believe, a polycarbonate, sort of like a motorcycle helmet. But they're very unique guitars. They did not catch in the market for various reasons, but they're wonderful. But this guitar has a liveness like no other guitar that I own or play. And it is that quality, more than anything else, that has made it one of my first go-to guitars. And it was that made me think of doing this video, to demonstrate and talk about what liveness means to a guitar. So we're going to do a comparison. I'm going to play first just knocking on the wood and hitting the strings behind the bridge, just to hear the sound of the innate guitar, not its playing resonance, but how it sounds. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the Jazzmaster, and then I'm going to do the same thing again, but this time on the Subro Resoglass guitar. It's called a Black Holiday model, by the way. Again, fairly rare instrument, but wonderful. I love it. So did you hear the difference? Did you find it interesting? Live and in the hands, where you actually feel the vibration of the instrument, the difference is not subtle at all. And yes, it does come through the amplifier. So here we go now, just two quick demonstrations of what it's like to play it. Now this is just the introduction to an original song that I've done called "I Went Down by the River." I'm not doing the whole song here, I'm not doing the singing part, but just that introduction. Excuse me. And this so you can hear the sound of the instrument and what the liveness does. And again, it's just two examples. It's the ES, known for its liveness, and then the theoretically solid body, but it's actually not, Reso Glass Supro. Here, listen, enjoy. So there you have it in video form. Again, just recorded with the microphone and the iPhone. I trust you can hear a difference in the resonance. Go back and listen to the demos again. I find that this makes an enormous difference. And it's not just something you hear, it's something you feel. It makes the guitar be part of you. Many years ago, I had an instructor, very, very good jazz guitarist by the name of Lenny Frank, who played one of the original D'Angelico New Yorkers. And he used to actually speak of playing it with no clothes on. Never demonstrated that to my joy. But he said that the guitar would enter his body in that way, the vibrations of the wood. Now, a electric guitar, even as we've seen demonstrated here, doesn't have the resonance and the liveness of that kind of a handmade, fine jazz acoustic. But it does have some. In fact, it has a considerable amount in the case of the Supro Black Holiday. I recommend making this one of the things you consider as you try guitars. This feel, this vibration, this oneness. To me, it makes a very big difference. Whether it does to you, only you can determine. But I say it's something that should be on the list of things that's considered. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting and helpful. Bye now.